Okay. Can y'all see that? Let me see. Thumbs up if you can see this. Okay. All right. Gloria says yes. That means we're ready to rock. Okay. So I put this together actually last month. It was really well received. I sent out the replay, and I had a couple people that are like, oh, if you do this again, I'd love to be on live. So here we are again, and we're talking about the 10 things to stop doing when you're trying to lose weight. And as we go through, I'd love to encourage a lot of interaction and questions and things like that. So that way you feel like you're understanding the concepts. If something's confusing, I can clarify, and then we can continue to roll. All right, so first question, I'm going to open up the chat box. Are you on a diet right now? I know we're in like the prime time of the year for folks to be starting diets. I would love to know in the chat box if you are on a diet right now. No shame in the diet game. And if so, which one? And if not, which was the last one you tried? So Mallory says, nope. What was the last diet you tried? I know we have a lot of folks that are jumping on keto and low carb and things of that nature. Whatever it is that you've tried, or maybe you tried and had success or failed at, I would love to know. I know Sheena's in here, so I know she's been on a diet before. She's been on a contest prep diet, which is a whole nother conversation. Joanne says constantly, Weight Watchers, keto, vegan, yes. And honestly, I talk about vegan and vegetarian a lot as being dietary practices. Like some people will go into those for for other reasons besides fat loss. But a lot of times folks in the new year, like, they watch some of these great Netflix documentaries and they want to shift everything in their life over immediately. Hi, I was one of those folks. And so totally normal. Let's see, a paleo diabetic diet, not dieting, just intermittent fasting. And we're going to actually talk about some of these dietary theories here in a few slides, and even intermittent fasting. So stay tuned and buckle in. Okay, moving on. Who can relate to this guy right here, right? When you've been on a low carb diet for like 5 minutes and it feels like 5 years. I'll never forget the first time I went into contest prep. I had hired a local coach, and I had done like the cabbage soup diet. I had done, oh geez, I had done so many diets at that point. But I got into contest prep because I wanted to get started with that. And my coach, when he was finally ready for me to start prepping, handed me, I call them bro diets. He handed me the diet, which is like classic bodybuilder bro diet of like rice, broccoli, and chicken, which I actually don't mind eating. But at the time, I was not eating like that. So I looked at this and I said, there's no beer on here. I was a big beer drinker, and I immediately realized I was in for a wild ride. So, okay. Well, when we're on a low carb diet or we're on any kind of diet, usually our brain automatically goes into this mode, which is like, I want immediately what I can't have. And we're going to talk about that too, and a little bit of the dieting strategies that we use at the studio. And hopefully I can give you some tips on for yourself as well. Okay, let me move this over so you guys can see this. Okay, so this today, I want to help you discover some simple strategies to stop repeating old habits, break a lot of diet myths, because I think some of these topics are like, you can only lose weight if you're eating like 100% healthy, and if you have a cookie, like you've failed the diet completely. So we're going to talk about some of those things, and to talk about old diet myths we definitely need to put to rest. Other ways to get results faster and actually a better, more pleasant dieting experience, and then help you stop searching for the next diet so you can understand, it's not this diet that's going to fix the problem. It's really me adhering to something that I can keep to for the long haul. That's more of a lifestyle that comes in waves, right? Where I can diet for a little bit because maybe I have this goal and my calories are going to be less, but what I'm eating that make up those calories don't necessarily have to be just salads and celery and green juice and chicken. It can be a mixture. Like, while these things are important and they're great for health, there can be other things in there that are fun and that will keep you sane in the process. Okay. Want to help you stop searching for that fad diet. Like, we're over that. We're going to talk about some of those diets that, even if you never are in the Venus stratosphere and work with us, I want you to stop doing forever. A little bit about me. I didn't even introduce myself. If you're totally new here, um, I think somebody is unmuted. So if you could just unmute yourself or mute yourself real quick, that would be super helpful. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So with that being said, hello, I'm Diane. Why I care is because I've done every diet probably known to man. I like to call myself a self-proclaimed professional dieter because I have done everything, tried everything, most often because I work with women and I want to make sure that I have at least some anecdotal experience with a diet process where I can at least give my personal feedback to something. In complete honesty, have hated most diets. I'm sure most of you have. I have been competing since 2011. I'm a professional IFBB pro bodybuilder. I've done about 14 shows to date. And I personally did not come from a background of eating healthy. So that's not something I was like raised with, or I was everything I had to learn on my own. I'm also an health coach, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I learned a lot about different dietary theories. We had to learn about hundreds of them, actually. So I've struggled also personally and overcome my own personal health issues, of which I'm going to show you. I was very overweight at one point. I was sick. I was unhealthy, exhausted, and landed in the hospital because of my poor eating habits. And, after that, and a long backstory of some other fitnessy and health things, I just made it my hellbent mission to bring it to light to women to help them get a more sustainable approach to their health and wellness goals. So speaking of, this is just another little quick before and after. Lying in a hospital bed, I had just had my gallbladder removed. I often tell this story in a lot of my nutrition coaching, coffees with coach, or my webinars about my diet. On the left, I was fresh out of high school, and a lot of my diet consisted of double quarter pounders with cheese, supersized fries, and a large Pepsi. And at the time, I was dating this wonderful young man who drove a Chevy Chevelle, and he picked me up from high school. And we would go through the McDonald's drive-through, and we would ask for our double quarter pounder with cheese patties to be extra greasy. And that is not a lie. We would say, we want the juiciest patties. Can you please find me extra greasy patties that you have in the tray? So this is where I stemmed from. I was eating lots of processed foods. My parents worked at, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like banquet foods. So we had a lot of frozen foods, corn dogs, TV dinners, things like that, whole milk. My dad was a dairy farmer. So I grew up on a heavily processed diet. And if we were being healthy, we were eating like hamburger helper and tuna helper. So no fresh vegetables. I mean, it was very rare that we had anything green. Occasionally, my mom would, make a salad, but it was more towards my older years, in my 20s. But I would diet hop. I would try something for a couple of weeks, wouldn't work. I have some old food logs of, logging all my meals and stuff. So tried everything. And then now, this is kind of like where I sustain, got my mom bod here in my pool this past summer, but most of my foods, 80 to 90% are whole foods. So things that grow out of the ground, fresh veggies and things like that. Wasn't easy for me. I struggled immensely. I thought clean eating was disgusting because it had no flavor. It's really hard when you come from this side on the left to jump to a strict clean diet where everything is very plain. Your taste buds are in shock. You've been used to eating the same flavor profile. So anything new that is not like your old diet is going to taste awful. So it took a lot of trial and error to finally land into a space where I really enjoy eating 80 to 90% whole foods. And then I have Sanity Foods Daily. And this is really what we coach our clients on as well, is there has to be a little bit of a mental break from the monotony of like, I actually enjoy how I eat, but we're human. I want a donut. I'm going to have a donut today. I'm probably going to have some sushi tonight. So some other foods that'll fit within my nutrition that aren't necessarily like clean eating foods, because I understand how dieting works. I understand the concepts of calories, the macronutrients, fat, protein, carbs, all those things. And this is something that we educate our clients on, because it's going to help you over the long run make better food choices and have a better result and live a lot longer without feeling like you're going crazy on some crazy strict diet. Okay, so another one too, this is, if you could take a quick look here. I used to hide these photos forever because they were so embarrassing. And then I'm like, you know what? People need to know that this is real life shit here. Like, this is a tray of cookie dough, the bag of Doritos. Right here is Portuguese sweetbread. This is a cup of Pepsi. There was a 2-liter, but my dad was in the background eating his dinner, so I clipped him out of there. But there's a huge 2-liter of soda. This is a pizza right here. This is a pizza box, frozen pizza. So this was like a typical day. This wasn't like Diane's having a cheat meal. This is like, hey, I'm having dinner tonight and some dessert and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So I was raised, bless my parents. They did their best. They only do what they knew. They did what their parents knew. I was raised on really unhealthy dietary habits. So it was just how we lived, how I was raised. My taste buds had no indication of like what health food was. When I started dieting, I was terrified of carbs because that's what we are perceived as, like, carbs are the devil. You can't have carbs when you're on a diet. Keto is the only way to go. And just to squirrel for 1 second, the reason why keto is so highly glamorized for weight loss, it does show to have some health benefits in like some disease worlds, like in some disease classifications. But for the most like popular dietary culture, the reason why it's so glamorized is because when you cut carbs, you will lose a lot of water weight. Now, when you start eating them back, you're going to gain all that water back. And so I was addicted to that feeling of like, oh, I'm going to cut carbs. And then I'd get on the scale every day. And then like I'd lose 3 pounds or 4 pounds in 1 week. And I'm like, ooh, it's working. And then I'd have, a normal moment where I'd want a cookie or a slice of bread or whatever. And then like the next day I'd gain weight. And it's because carbohydrates hold water. So it wasn't true fat I was gaining. It was water weight. And if I would have been patient, I would have understood that will level off at some point, and eventually your body will catch up, and it doesn't land as body fat all the time per se. So totally stuck on scale numbers. Now I, consider myself a little bit of a dieting wizard. I've been doing this for quite some time. I can predict pretty much what my scale weight is going to be based off of the foods that I eat and the changes that I make. And same thing goes for my clients when they adhere to their macros, even if they have like a week that's only 90% on track. I'm like, listen, it's 90% on track. Let's not focus on the 10% that wasn't great. Let's keep making strides forward, because we're still making progress. It's going to be slow, but it's overall better in the end that you just stick to the process and strategy. Also, again, who feels like they're perpetually on a diet? Like you're always either on a diet, off a diet, on a diet, off a diet. That needs to stop. It's crazy making. We don't need to be on a diet all the time, especially I know those of you that are like, man, I have so much weight to lose. I need to be on a diet forever. That is the furthest thing from the truth. Your body knows, it will understand, it will be stubborn, it will stop. And so we rotate our fat loss goals with our clients. And that is another reason why I don't do shows all year round, because it's very unhealthy and it's not good for your metabolism. So even if you have a lot of weight to lose, you should still be cycling your weight loss goals, going into a little bit of a weight loss deficit cut, if you will, for 8 to 12 weeks. 12 weeks is kind of like the longer end, and then reworking your calories slowly back up without going crazy and just off the radar with your eating, and let your metabolism catch up. That way, when you go back to diet, you can actually diet on higher calories. So we talk about this in length throughout the program, but basically in a nutshell, rotating your goals and not being in fat loss constantly, giving yourself a diet break. Okay, so I'm already a few minutes in here, 20 minutes in. So today I hope to keep this a little more interactive and fun. Like I said, feel free to ask questions, take notes. There is one slide coming up. I would love for you to screenshot. I will send this out as a replay tomorrow, so you can definitely pull it back up and screenshot it if you can't do it at this moment. But there is a actionable slide that I want you to look at and start making some changes immediately. I'm going to go over 10 foundations of fat loss. I consider these basically the landscape or the foundation of your fat loss and healthy lifestyle wheelhouse. So things that, you just start to layer on. I have the bricks there as an example. You just layer each of these on. And if you create habits around them every single day, it's going to be the foundation of your lifestyle. And even if you just did these 10 little things, you would notice a significant difference in your results for sure. And then at the end, I know some of you have asked about ditch deprivation. I'm going to talk about that. That's our 12-week fat loss program. Fat loss, muscle gain, strength building, whatever your unique goals are, because it's very specific to the individual. I have some clients that are 110 pounds and they have no desire to lose any more weight. They want to actually put on some weight and build some muscle. And that is also something we can talk about and work on for you. And then I have clients that are 300 pounds that are like, I need to get healthy. My health is at risk. And so we have women across the board. And we're going to talk about that, show you some great slides of some client work as well too. So you can say like, oh, okay, this is super relatable to my, my situation. All right. So some dieting myths we're going to squash first off, and, before we go anywhere is carbs are not the devil. Carbs, overeating them causes us to gain weight, but they're not inherently bad, right? So you could still eat carbs and lose weight. It's just the amount of carbs. And that's where you have to do a little bit of strategizing and making sure that you're not overeating certain foods. And that's going to be with any diet. It doesn't matter. It's going to be, even if you're doing keto, you're still going to have to maintain the amount of food you're eating. You can't just eat keto and eat without any sort of regard to how many calories you're eating. You have to know whether you're eating to lose weight or you're eating and you're just going to maintain your body weight, or are you eating in a surplus, which means I'm eating too much and I'm going to end up gaining weight, right? I'm going to talk about how, we need to quit thinking that the scale is the only way that you're gauging your progress. I have a great slide of a client who lost 5 pounds. Thankfully, we did progress photos and she kept those. So when she was done with the program, she was like, she was trying not to get disappointed and she kept going. And then 5 pounds made a significant difference because she reshaped her body. So she put on some muscle, she dropped a little bit of body fat, she shrunk. So I'm going to show you those photos too. The other thing is folks think they need to do a ton of exercise to get results, which is actually the inverse. The more exercise that you do, the hungrier you're going to be. So I always manage clients' nutrition first before I layer on tons of cardio, because it's a ping pong game of like doing more cardio, then you're more hungry and you're trying to like not eat. And it's a vicious cycle that needs to stop for a lot of folks. And then also dispelling the myth is that you have to eat 100% clean, which is Tashina's question. She had actually emailed me a question about, I find it really hard that, I to believe that I can eat other foods that are the same calorie amount and still get results. So we're going to talk about too. You can eat foods that are perceived as bad, okay, and still get results as long as you are in a calorie deficit. And calorie deficit just means you're eating less calories than your body needs to maintain its current body weight level or body fat level. So stay tuned. We're going to uncover some more things there and dive a little bit deeper. So this is one of my favorite transformations. And actually, I'm a little upset with her because she wouldn't let me get photos when she very first started. This is my good friend, Tina Bauer. She's actually 53. This was like her midpoint, I guess, transformation. This was about 3 months into her working with me, and she's actually going to be doing her first bikini show this year. I'm very excited about that. This is to show you that age is just a number, and you can reverse age starting immediately by getting some things in line with your exercise, your health, nutrition, a lot of things we're going to talk about today. So before we dive in any further, 20 minutes in, I'm trying to keep track of time so I can be respectful of your guys' time, but let me know in the chat box today while you're here. I'm super curious. My curious mind always wants to know. So type in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 1, you heard about ditch deprivation. You're a little bit curious about that. Number 2, you've dieted, usually give up. You want some simple tips. Number 3, I'm dieting, have dieted, but I don't get results. I would love to know that. And then 4, you're successfully dieting, but always could use a few more tips, or maybe you just need a little bit of motivation. Or number 5, you're super bored, you have nothing else to do today, and you just wanted to hear me babble. Let me know. I'm going to look at the chat here. It looks like there's a lot of 4s here, so that's awesome. 1s, there's no one's 5. Oh, Coach Glitter is always bored, so she's bored when I'm talking, so she just joins in. Okay, so across the board, right? I see everyone from different spaces here, different areas successfully dieting could use more tips. Awesome. Well, I hope to give you some insights on the fat loss world to help you succeed further. All right, there's Elsie, Natalie, Joanne, Mallory, and Dorothy. Okay, awesome. Perfect. So let's move on. All right, so a few things before we start the actual 10 things is you have to understand these things before we even go down the rabbit hole of the 10 things, is that all diets work if they are creating a calorie deficit. Doesn't matter if you're vegan, vegetarian, paleo, any of those dietary theories, they will all work. It doesn't matter. It's just, what can you stick to? I know that when I go into like hardcore prep, I can't stick to fish, rice, and veggies forever. It's literally for a very extreme purpose. So I tell this to you because if you have a coach, or you bought a diet plan, or you hired somebody, and you're not getting ready to compete, and they're handing you a diet that is 5 meals of chicken, rice, and broccoli, and breakfast is like oatmeal and egg whites, and that's it, and you're like, I'm never going to compete. Like, okay, it'll work. It'll typically work if it's creating a calorie deficit for you. But can you stick to that forever? No. And I'm telling you this because I was guilty. I was guilty of that for many years when I very first started coaching clients, probably about 8 years ago. When I started doing this 12-week program called Goddess Body University, I would hand clients this diet, and I'd be like, here you go, it's gonna work. And they'd be like, okay, they'd be great, they'd last 3 days, and then they're like, I can't do this is way too strict. So it works, it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable over the long haul. Next thing, we typically eat way more than we think. I counsel my clients often. In fact, Alicia and Amanda, we have this discussion often about our ditch deprivation clients, is you can't eyeball and think, yeah, that looks like about a half a cup of rice, or, oh, that looks like, 4 ounces of steak. You have to get a little bit of education under your belt before you can have some autonomy with really knowing what things weigh. And portion sizes, we're very skewed, and a lot of this is not our faults. It's due to the fact that we go to restaurants and we're served giant platters like this full of food. And I don't know about you, but I was raised to like eat everything on my plate. So when I go to a restaurant, I'm like, I gotta eat this all, folks. And a lot of times we just are shoving stuff in, and portion sizes are huge. So we're usually eating a lot more than we think, even when we're at home, just kind of putting our portions and stuff together. The other thing is we burn a lot less than we think generally from our workouts. I have clients that are addicted to their smartwatches and really trying to like burn so many calories per day. And just because you're sweaty or like your exercise burns, it doesn't mean that you are working technically that hard. And there's a lot of factors that need to be involved. How old are you? What's your current fitness level? Your metabolism, your hormones, all these things. And so a lot of times we're just like obsessively focusing on, getting sweaty as a marker for a good workout. And then we turn around and go eat a full pizza because we deserve it. When your workout may be cardio, I mean, generally speaking, a good cardio-ish workout, 30, 35 minutes, 300 calories, a slice of pizza, 500, a slice of pizza, like a good size, 400 to 500 calories. So you're basically doing this ping pong dance of like, I worked out, so I deserve this food, but the food is usually way more than the workout in terms of your calorie expenditure. So you're just playing this game back and forth, and it's very, very frustrating. So let's move on. Okay, let's jump in. You guys are like, all right, it's about time, 30 minutes in. Let's get to the nitty gritty. How to avoid dieting pitfalls and lose fat starting today. So these 10 are a great baseline of foundations for you to stop doing. And I'm also going to give you some tips on what to start doing. So some of you may do like a hard eye roll emoji, like these are way too easy. This is dumb. I do this already. This is boring. Too simple. That's not the secret. I guarantee you, like the Men's Warehouse, that if you implement these 10 things and start doing some of the things that I mentioned today, even if you did nothing else, and 3 months down the line, you took progress photos today and you're like, I'm just going to hardcore do these 10 things and see how my body changes and looks, you would notice a significant difference. If you consider that you weren't making any other, like you weren't overeating or any other drastic changes to your nutrition. Okay. So again, don't shrug them off. Be patient. Let's get started. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. So if you want change, you have to make some. I know it's comfortable saying stagnant or in your habits because change is scary or you fear of failure. Making changes is going to definitely require effort. So you got to put the work in, but it doesn't have to be as hard as some people think. And this is another one of my lovely humans. Some of you Venus gals may notice her. If you see her in the studio, commend her on her progress because she has come a very long way. She's still working with me on ditch deprivation and we're making some amazing strides. But this is my lovely, smiley, beautiful Eva. And I just love her so much. Okay. So this is the one that I was saying that you should screenshot this. Let me move my head out of the way. Okay, so this is basically stop repeating some old food habits, and this would be probably one of the most important things that you could start doing today. If you're not already, these subtle changes could create a ripple effect of other habits, and you would be shocked at how much of a difference this makes. So and this was literally, I just free riffed like these things that I just do every day, the switches that I made when I was sick, lying in that hospital bed, the things I was eating, the things I was doing, and to what I do now, what I guide a lot of our clients to do. And simple, easy, isn't super overly shocking to your taste buds. It's very sustainable. It's things that you can do immediately and start getting these things out of your house. Start switching this off in your home. If you do all the grocery shopping, get your kids switched over. Let me tell you, I started quite of a riot in my home when I started doing this, because I started doing this probably about 10 years ago. Stopped buying cow's milk, stopped buying soda, all these things. And my kids were angry. They were very angry. In fact, you can ask Coach Alicia about that one. She could tell you how angry she was, but we're going to show you what Coach Alicia looks like now. And she's very glad, I'm sure, that we made these switches in her childhood. But so things like cow's milk, switching out to nut milks, cashew milk, almond milk, all those, or some kind of alternative nut milk that is going to be lower in fat, lower in calories, better for you overall. Soda for diet soda, sugar, like regular sugar, you may be putting in like anything from your oatmeal or your coffee, whatever, to your tea, to sugar substitutes like stevia, things with 0 calories, syrups that like you use on pancakes and waffles, switching that over to a sugar-free or a low sugar, low calorie syrup. Now, some of these things, I know people are like, I can't stand it. It tastes too fake. And they just will not do it. Right. I've had to counsel a lot of clients in ditch deprivation. Do a half and half. Have you guys ever heard of half calf? So sometimes I will do a caffeine detox, usually twice a year, and I will cut coffee out of just caffeinated coffee out of my system for a little bit, let my adrenals have a break. They're probably shriveled little raisins. So I will do half calf. I will wean myself into decaf. I won't go cold turkey because then I'll have crazy headaches and it's just not fun. So same thing, you can't cold turkey your taste buds or else you're never going to be able to adapt to change unless you're just like, it's fine. I'll do it for a few days and I'll get used to it. So do half, maybe you do half regular milk and half nut milk for a little bit. I had to do this with my kids, specifically Tyson, because he was still very young when I did a lot of these changes. And, he was not having it. And so we did a little bit of the half and half for a little bit. So sugary cereals, alcohol, alcohol is a toughie, but switching to things like seltzer water, soda water, things that are like still have that fizziness, that still feel like you're partaking in a social event without the alcohol. It's not to say you can never have alcohol. I usually give my clients a budget of alcohol if they like to partake. I'll say like, look, this is doing a lot of damage to not only your fountain of youth for your meat suit, right? But also for your fat loss goals and your liver, because alcohol is not processed. It's not like a normal, how your body processes normal calories. It's definitely going to be stored as fat, and your body's going to prioritize that over building muscle, always, hands down. So that's why I try to get clients to just minimize their alcohol intake. It's not a dictatorship. I usually tell them, a couple drinks per week isn't terrible. Loaded coffee drinks. I know we love us some Starbucks and things like that, but also minimizing those, making swap outs. I do post a lot on my social media handles on Instagram of like the drinks that I get, because people are always asking, well, what do you get when you go to Starbucks or Bottoms Up or whatever? So I will usually post those. So these simple swap outs could save you hundreds of calories daily, and over time will help you drop body fat. The other thing too, at the bottom, like candy bars, people are like, well, protein bars are just glorified candy bars. They have the same amount of calories. And I'm like, okay, true in some instances. However, the protein bar actually contains protein along with some moderate amount of carbohydrates, and it's usually pretty low in fat, and those things are going to keep you satiated a lot longer than a candy bar when you eat and it spikes your sugar super fast and you're going to be looking for something to eat, typically equal amount of sugar very shortly thereafter after you have a candy bar. So this is just a little tweak that also helps as well. Okay, the other thing too is that you're not drinking enough magic juice, water. Water is the fountain of youth. Water is what makes all of the things in our body happen, all of the crazy processes, digestion, keeps you fuller longer. It is going to help you, honestly, with energy. My kids they always make fun of me because when they have a headache or their tummy hurts or whatever, I'm like, how much water have you drank today? And they're like, and they're like, okay, but you're right. I haven't had any water today. So it's super duper important. Your body is 60%, 60 to 70% made up of water. Your muscles, lots of water, all these things. So drinking your body weight in ounces is a good place to start. Even, for those of my clients that are like, well, I'm 250 pounds, that might be a lot of water. Start with half, see where you're at. If you're super dehydrated, you're going to experience lots of things like a lot of times your body thinks you're hungry, but you're really thirsty. So if you're finding that you feel like you're always hungry or you're craving a lot of times you may just need to increase your water, and that will help. It's just it's a mind trickery that happens sometimes when you're not drinking a lot of water. If you want to have more energy, drinking more water. You want to flush bloat, drink more water. You're not going to the bathroom regularly, which is something I talk to my clients about a lot, is you need to be going to the bathroom every single day. It is not okay, women, friends, those of you here hanging out with me on this beautiful Sunday, to go 2, 3, 4, 5 days without using the restroom. We need to be moving that stuff along and keep your digestion going. All right, so that is another tip there. Number 3, who is stressed out? I would love to know who's super stressed out right now due to whatever, maybe your situation with COVID or just life in general? Maybe you got a lot going on, or are you burning the candle at both ends? Where are my night owls? Where are my night owls? Type in the chat box. Let me know. I'd love to know, how many hours of sleep do you usually get? Christy's a night owl. Christy, I'm gonna spank you. You're my client. um, we're working on that, Christy. It's okay. All right. So I would love to know how many hours of sleep. So type it in the chat box for me. How many hours of sleep are you getting on average? And if you don't know, start tracking that. Really, really great thing to start tracking. Super duper important. Talk about that in just a second. 7 to 8, awesome. I generally try to get my clients sleeping no less than 6 hours. Y'all, I get 8 and it's great. And that's a rhyme. So do it. 8 hours is amazing. I'm just going to tell you. So a couple things. It greatly affects your hormones. So your insulin, particularly, which is a huge lever for, the deciding factor as storing fat or using it as energy. Cortisol spikes, right? So spiking your cortisol, these are all things that are affecting your fat loss. Low energy. So this is another thing. It will leave you with irrational decision making, right? Like, who's ever been hangry? I don't know about y'all, but I've been hangry sometimes. Sometimes that is because I haven't had enough sleep, and your body is searching for food to create energy, right? That's just a natural function of our body. Is a lot of times when we're tired, it's because we haven't slept, and the way that we perk up, a lot of times we'll go for more caffeine, which is loaded with calories, or we look for food. So that is going to give you some irrational decision making, because you're going to be craving sugary things. And that's how this whole thing kind of comes together. So again, yeah, food is fuel. So it's going to be a huge indicator of your cravings as well. Goes hand in hand with that low energy stuff. And another thing I like to tell my clients: if you're sleeping, you ain't eating. So when you're asleep, you're not roaming the cupboards at 11 p.m. while you're watching Netflix or trying to cram in some homework, for those of you that are schooling, going through some college stuff, or you're trying to work. I know I can be super guilty of this. My kids are literally peeling my fingers off my laptop at 7 p.m. They're like, "Mom, get off the fucking computer." So if you're sleeping, you're not eating. And then the other thing is creating a bedtime routine will help immensely with this. So who has kids here? Show of hands. I want to see you guys. Show of hands. Gerardo. Oh my gosh. Our one male friend is here. So we have kids, right? Would we keep our kids up till midnight and then wake them up at 7 and expect them to not be little a-holes? No. They're going to be cranky and tired and grumpy, and they're going to be all over the place. So we're just big kids. Why wouldn't we have bedtime routines? I know a lot of it's probably rebelling because we don't have parents telling us to go brush our teeth and get in bed by 9 p.m. But we definitely need these bedtime routines for ourselves to function as adults and do the things that we need to do in our life, and also for fat loss, right? Because again, all these other factors. So couple tips here: creating a bedtime routine. One thing, my daughter is we are on the same page. I'm pointing this way because she's in the other room, but we know we cannot have caffeine after 2 p.m. Ask Coach Glitter. This is something that we discuss often. If I come into the studio and she sees me drinking anything with caffeine, she's like, "You're dumb. You're not going to sleep later." Like clockwork, it happens, whether you think so or not. And you're like, "Caffeine doesn't affect me." It will affect you 6 hours post your caffeine consumption, 6, sometimes longer. So, and it usually has another spike where it will spike up once again. Usually no food, no dinner an hour before bed, not because it's going to make you fat, because your body is diverting energy to your digestive system, and that is going to keep you up. So trying to eat, I try to, get about an hour before bed where I'm not eating anything, because I know it's going to disturb my sleep, sometimes acid reflux, things like that. Reading a book is super helpful. Something, getting off your electronics. I know that some people are like, they want to read before bed, and I'm not a big like fiction person, but it's really great to read fiction before bed, because if you're trying to read like an entrepreneurial book or something in regards to school or education or things like that, generally your the idea fairy is going to visit, and it's going to keep you up, and that's just going to disrupt your sleep typically. And then have a non-negotiable bedtime, a non-negotiable bedtime. My non-negotiable bedtime is 10 p.m. and that is the latest. If I'm getting up at 4, it is 9 p.m. So create a non-negotiable bedtime for yourself and stick to it. Our iPhones now have a function. If you go into, I'm going to talk to you about it right now because I'm super passionate about sleep. So I don't know if you could see this, but it says sleep and wake up. There's this new, it's not new, it's been there for a while, but this function on your iPhone, and you can change it and it will tell you like you can set a sleep goal in here. That way you can mess with the dial and you can look specifically like, ooh, I'm getting in bed tonight at 11 and I got to be up at this time. I'm only getting this many hours of sleep. Got to work on that. It will help you get some sleep habits around your times to go to bed and all those things in your iPhone if you have that. So one little tip there. All right, so again, we have tip number 4. Thing number 4 is a lot of folks do this. They set the bar too high for their results. So setting wild expectations is going to set you up for failure. I have clients that get super frustrated. They want to lose like 10 pounds the first week or the first month, sometimes even. And while some folks can and will, depending on where they're starting from, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's not going to stay off. If it comes off too fast, it's going to come back on very fast, and it's not going to stay off for very long. So realistic, sustainable weight loss is a half a pound to a pound per week. Just depends on your starting point. But let's just say you lose a half a pound per week and you just keep cruising along a year later, doing these things, staying in a calorie deficit, maybe cycling your calorie goals. Think about, add that up. Where is that going to put you in a year if you just buckle in and be patient and expect it to take some time to get off? Because typically it didn't come on like that. It usually takes some time, some years of just us doing the same thing over and over, just repeating some neglecting some self-care things. And it takes some time to put on. The other thing is progress isn't linear, meaning you're not going to continually like start here and then you're just going to go like this all the time, where you just are constantly losing weight. That is not going to happen. If you look, I love our software for ditch deprivation clients because we can see their trends when they log their weights. And a lot of times it's like they start here and they have a dip and then they go up. And usually when it's here, I look at their check-in and they're like super discouraged and this and that. And I'm like, got to keep going, keep doing the damn thing. And then they have a dip and then here, and then they have a whoosh and then they level off. And so it's very like, it's a twisted ball of yarn. It's all over the place. It's never going to be straight across the board. It's very, very rare. A lot of times people will want to just cut more calories or add more exercise. And I tell clients, if it's working, why do you want to eat less? Because they want to be greedy and they want to lose more weight. And I'm like, it's not how it works. Enjoy eating a little bit more calories because your body is like, hey, bitch, this is working. Let's just keep going. Don't get greedy. Don't be trying to do that 1,000-calorie diet because that shit ain't gonna work. You're gonna jump right off that wagon in 3 days. So we typically start clients a little bit higher with calories and they freak out. They're like, oh my God, 2,000 calories or whatever it is. I can't eat that much. That's way too much. I'm gonna get fat. When the reality is if they were actually tracking a lot of the foods they were eating prior to that weren't like cleaner, they were probably eating more than that. It's just that now they're shifting, they're a little more aware, they're typically eating more whole foods, a little less processed stuff, they're making some transitions. And so it does feel like a lot of food because foods that are cleaner, I hate that word, but like healthier whole foods are usually voluminous, right? Think about like a cup of rice or a cup of like sweet potatoes or whatever. It's like, hi, it's food, it's filling for your stomach. And so we associate that with being a lot of food when the reality is it's really calorically, it's really low in calories. It's not super calorie dense. So it's going to feel like, holy cow, I'm eating a lot of food. So it's really not. So not, so understanding you don't necessarily need to continue to cut calories if your diet is working. And then also stop trying to weigh what you did in 1985. And I know some of you were actually probably born in 1985, but for those of us that weren't, we don't need to try to weigh what we did in high school or like our wedding day or the day when we went to college and all that, because you're not the same person, especially if you're over 40. And that's why I wanted to really get my clients who are over 40 listening in, is that's totally unrealistic. Totally, like, that's not who you were. I'll use this as an example. My daughter is 23. I am 42. She eats way more than me. This kid is eating almost 3,000 calories a day because she's 24 or she's going to be 24, and she hasn't had children. Her metabolism is humming along great because she hasn't yo-yo dieted for years, right? She's doing this the right way. Those of us over 40, we've likely yo-yo dieted a lot. Our metabolism is super confused all the time. Our hormones are super confused all the time. So we can't expect to put all this pressure on ourselves to weigh what we did when we were in high school or our wedding day or, before we had kids or any of that stuff, because you're not the same person. So I'm giving you permission to not want to weigh what you did in 1985 or 1995 for those of you that aren't of our age range. 40 and fabulous. Okay. Nextly, and these are pictures of some of my clients, just real quick for context. This is one of my clients that hired me. This is about 6 months in. She was getting ready to do a show, and obviously we did a lot of fat loss here. I want to say that this is about a 25-pound difference, if I can remember correctly. Okay, nextly, we've got thing number 5, slashing calories too low, which I think I already beat a dead horse on the other slide about. But reason being is your body needs time to adjust. As another reason, hormones, we have ghrelin and leptin. And when you slash calories too low, a lot of times this is why people get hangry and they have cravings, because they're trying to go too hard in the paint. I don't even know if that's a saying anymore, but they're trying to go way too hard and not being patient about, like, let me just do this in a slow, methodical manner. So that way I can actually do it for a while and not freak my body out. Okay. Then the other one, which actually is the most important, is it gives you no wiggle room to go lower. So if you start a 1,000-calorie diet, where are you going to go from there? You're going to eat 900 calories, 800 calories. Like, that is absolutely unhealthy and unsustainable. So when somebody, if we never get to work together and you decide to hire someone else, or you decide to do this on your own, please do not start with 1,000 calories or accept anything from a coach that's going to give you 1,000 calories and think that this is okay. It is not. It is ethically irresponsible. And any coach that is handing out a meal plan or a diet, and I'm going to put a little asterisk here for competitors because that's a whole nother conversation, is that you should run the other way. And that is not okay. You have no wiggle room to go lower. You'll lose a ton of muscle in the process, because while you're losing fat as well, you're also going to lose lean tissue, lean body mass. So avoid that as much as possible. And again, this is another law of just the pendulum. Pendulum swings, right? You know what a pendulum is, like a clock tick tock. The pendulum is going to swing this way, right? You're going to drop your calories too fast. When you go off the diet, or you lose your shit, or you get hangry, you're going to go this way, the opposite end, and you're going to rebound fast, and you're going to gain fat back. So I always chuckle a little bit to myself, and it makes me a little sad when I see folks on Instagram post show, or they go into a severe cut for a show or a contest or a prep or something, and they come out of it and it's like a month later, and and it hurts me because I coach my clients to come out of diets gracefully when they put on 15, 20 pounds in a month. It happens. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I put on some muscle, and I'm like, that's not how it works, boo-boo. It's definitely a lot of body fat. Unless you're an enhanced athlete, that's probably not the case that it's not muscle, because muscle takes a lot of time to build, and it ain't happening like 15 pounds of muscle in 1 month. So a lot of times you're just gaining tons of body fat back. So you want to do it slowly and methodically. So doing this, start with the calorie cut. Don't get greedy. I'm going to give you a little recipe. So sit tight on how to do this yourself, and figure some stuff out. Okay, and this is another one of our lovely clients. This is Amy. This is also mid transformation. I think she's lost about 100 pounds now, but this was kind of midway through. And I think this is about a 30-pound difference between these two photos too. She's a tiny little person too. So she did great. All right, so as I promised, it's going to tell you about the client that lost 5 pounds. And this is only a 5-pound difference. And while it's not like incredibly drastic, I think you guys can see my cursor. You will see this area made a lot of change. This area right here, like what we like to refer to as our saddlebags, right here, she's definitely trimmed up. She's leaner in her back. So a number on the scale does not equal an aesthetic look you may be going for. 150 pounds on one person looks very different from another. Prime example. Coach Glitter and I were working out yesterday and we weigh the same exact amount. Literally, I was 149 today. I think she was 148. We're a pound off. And if you stand us side by side, we look significantly different. I'm 5'4", she's 5'1", maybe. The way that our muscle structures are, the way that everything lands on our body differently, our body composition, our body fat levels, things are different, right? We both look very different and we weigh the exact same. So it's going to look different. So I don't want you to be married to a number on the scale. Like I'm only going to be happy when I'm 135 pounds. I think what we're trying to say is I want to look a certain way, but I think if we can just adhere to the focus of I want to look a certain way and I don't care what the scale says. Obviously, there's some extenuating circumstances where like health is an issue and we're really trying to bring down body fat. And so scale weight will make a difference. And that is one measure of progress for some of my clients that are, over 300 pounds, over 250. We definitely want to bring that down to a healthy range. But when you're like talking about the 120 to 150 pound range, you're really looking for a look, right? You're like, granted, you want to be a certain weight, but I think what we're saying is we want to look a certain way. So body composition is definitely what we should be focusing on. And also photos are going to make a huge difference on keeping you motivated versus just hopping on and off of that thing that just basically tells you your body weight relation to gravity, the scale. So take photos. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I share my story because people are super interested, like how the whole, fat loss diet, contest stuff works. So I share a lot of that, but take photos, take measurements. How are your clothes fitting? I have clients that, they'll be like, oh my God, these jeans didn't fit me 2 weeks ago. The scales only moved 2 pounds. This is super awesome. I'm like, don't just keep going, right? Just keep swimming. So, other things, other ways to measure success, your energy, your strength, sleep, skin, libido, all those things, digestion. Focus on those things as why you're continuing, right? Because there's so many positives to list when you go into a lifestyle change or a diet change, but we just want to fixate on this one stupid little thing. We're going to pretend this is a scale, this one stupid little thing, but we're forgetting about the 15 other amazing things that are a result of this new lifestyle change that we're making. I'm so on my soapbox today, you guys. Okay, thing number 7. A huge mistake that folks make is guessing how much they eat. Huge mistake. So I usually tell clients, and this is so if you want to write this down, if you're just like, okay, I want to try this on my own for a little bit and see how I can make these things work. I always start my clients off by saying, log your food. You don't know how much you're eating. We got to figure out what your maintenance is right now. Like, how many calories are you eating every day that's maintaining what you have going on right now? For some folks, they were shocked. I had a client that started with me in the studio and she wanted to start ditch. And I said, I want you to start logging your food because this is going to help me as a coach understand how many calories you're eating, because it makes no sense for me to just give you 1,500 calories if you've been sustaining your weight on 3,000, 4,000 calories. And we maybe don't need to go that low right now. We could probably make some adjustments. You could still eat a lot of food and still have some results. So she had logged her food and she's a tiny little person. and she was eating well over 3,000 calories a day, which for those of you that are like kind of confused and you don't really know, 3,000 is quite a bit for a female who is 5'1", probably 135 pounds, who is struggling to lose weight. That's definitely going to be a surplus or slash keeping her at maintenance. So 3,000 is a little bit high. So a little bit, a lot of it for some folks. So measure your portions for a while. I have a fun, cute little food scale here. Get a food scale, start weighing your food, plugging it into an app on your phone, MyFitnessPal or something of that nature. Start tracking it. Snack traps are snacks and BLTs. And I'm not talking about bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches. I'm talking about bites, licks, tastes, sips. That's the acronym for BLTs. That's what that stands for. So those all add up. So a lot of times I'll have clients, or we'll working with people, and they're like, nothing's changing, but they're doing a lot of snacking. I don't like to eat a full meal. I like to snack. Well, that's going to bite you in the ass if you're not tracking that and putting it in your app and realizing that this is definitely contributing to overeating and underestimating how many calories you're eating. And then again, figuring out, like I just mentioned, explaining what your maintenance calories is. So if your weight is staying the same and your activity level is about the same, it's usually because you're eating at maintenance. So you're eating the amount of calories that your body needs and expending the amount of calories that your body is expending to maintain your current level of body weight. All right. So what I usually recommend if you want to go out about this on your own is log your food for a few days and don't try to be good. So what I mean by that is don't go, okay, I'm going to figure out a diet for myself, and all these 3 days I'm going to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. And then I'm going to see like how much that is. And then I'm going to create my diet. No, eat what you normally eat. Figure out how many calories. If you always go through Starbucks and get like a frappuccino and like a cake pop, then put that in there, because you're the only one looking at it right now, and you just need to kind of figure out, where am I, like how much am I even eating right now? And then from there figure out your deficit, and just start with cutting back 10% of your calories. So take those 3 days, average it out, and then just cut 10% off of that, and then start with that. And that's just kind of a baseline. It's a very loose way to start. And again, there's going to be some some special circumstances in there, like, maybe one day you weren't feeling so hot and you didn't eat as much. So just get 3 real good typical days of eating listed and go from there. Okay, thing number 8, and I know I've already kept you for an hour, so I'm going to zip through. I'm so sorry. Excessive cardio. Now, a lot of folks think I hate cardio. I don't hate cardio. Cardio is still very important. I assign, we all do, in fact, assign our nutrition clients cardio, because cardio is super important just for overall longevity and health, right? Getting your heart rate up, your cardiovascular health, especially women. That is one of the leading causes of death for women is heart disease. So keeping your cardio in, and it doesn't need to be soul crushing like Orange Theory, not to bag on Orange Theory, or like HIIT, or like, I got to do 800 burpees a day. No, it just needs to get your heart pumping, your juices flowing, get your heart rate up. So doing stuff that you enjoy is going to be the ticket. What do you enjoy doing? I have some clients that enjoy swimming. I have some clients that enjoy biking. If you don't like it, you're not going to stick to it. I like getting on the treadmill and listening to a podcast. I will stack my habits, which is also something super important. I don't have my book. I went to grab it, Atomic Habits. But stacking your habits, doing the thing you need to do with something that you like to do. So maybe cardio is not your favorite, which typically it's not my favorite. I'd rather lift heavy shit, but I'll put my ear pods in. I will listen to a couple of my favorite podcasts, and I will stack it with something that I enjoy. I will watch some YouTube, something I want to learn about. So stack those habits. Too much is going to really determine person to person. So people are like, how much is too much cardio? It's just really person specific. So I can't really give you a hard and fast rule, but I generally start all of my clients on a baseline of 2 to 3 days. If they are doing nothing, 20 minutes. Go for a leisure walk. Go, go, take your dogs for a walk. Get out in nature, get some vitamin D, get those feel good endorphins going. It does not have to be soul crushing cardio. I just want you to move and get your heart rate up. Again, what can you sustain? What can you do and add to your life? What can you do for cardio that is not going to take away from your life, right? Like if one of your goals is to spend more time with your family, but you have to go and do the soul crushing cardio and you feel like you have to do an hour, that's not going to be in line with what you want to do and what you can sustain. So we take family walks. We get the dogs out, we go on walks, we get some steps in, and it's fun. And it's something that I feel like is adding to my life. It's not taking away. So what else can you control? So again, one of those things is that when you add and layer on more cardio, it's a diminishing return on your fat loss. You're going to have to keep adding more, right? So that's why when I start clients in, contest prep, I want them doing just a standard baseline, and I do not drill them down with hours of cardio. I try to get them off of excessive cardio and keep a nice healthy baseline, 3 to 4 days for competitors a week of just a maintenancey 15 to 20 minutes. So that way, when we got to accelerate and punch the gas pedal in the throes of prep, we have somewhere to draw from. You're not already doing 2 a days, 2 cardio sessions a day and a weight training day, 6 days a week. That's just banana sandwiches to me, right? Like you can't live on that. And even if you're not in prep, even more so. And it increases your hunger on a whole nother level. So I would rather manage your nutrition and your calories and put you in a deficit instead of drilling down tons of cardio. Because I don't know about you, but I like to eat. I would rather eat more, and focus on that and focus on healthy, good quality calories instead of drilling down a bunch of cardio and then feeling starving and ravenous and then getting hangry and eating stuff that's like not going to serve me. Okay, another one of my favorite humans. This is Jody Schmody. She is a wonderful goddess at Venus. I believe she is in her 50s. Somebody told me, a little birdie told me, but I'm super proud of her. This is another testament to just because you're 40 or 50 don't mean this shit don't work. It's not too late. So anyways, thing number 9, this is just a wonderful brag about one of my clients, but skipping meals or depriving yourself, AKA fasting, because you're trying to like punish yourself from overeating the night before or whatever that may be. What usually happens is it's just honestly, it's a terrible tactic into thinking you're going to get leaner and lose weight. I have clients who are like, well, I just eat one meal a day. And I'm like, that's probably wrecking your hormones, racking your brain as to why things aren't working. And we need to start feeding your body and your metabolism. Food is good. Food is meant to be enjoyed. Food is a part of who we are, and it's supposed to provide us sustenance and energy. And if you're only eating once a day, typically those things there's some holes and some gaps in the rest of your healthy lifestyle. Also contributes to excessive hunger. So if you skip meals, some clients ask me, well, how many meals a day should I be eating? And I'm like, depends. How many meals a day do you want to eat? Like, what is your schedule? Competitors, again, are an entirely different conversation because they have a very specific targeted goal and they have to get on stage at like subpar body fat levels. So that is something different that we work on. But for just everyday fat loss, you have to ask yourself, if I go 4 hours, am I going to be ravenous? Am I going to eat all the candy on my boss's desk if I go 4 hours? So you really need to know yourself, your personality. A lot of times clients will like have breakfast and they're like, I'm just so busy. Like a lot of my floor nurses, so busy. I have not had any time to eat. And then they're wondering why they're like ravenous when they get home. Their cravings are through the roof. And it's because they have gone way too long. And all of the fancy processes that go in our body are sending off alerts and signals everywhere because you need to feed me, bitch. Like you need some food. And typically you will overconsume, you'll overeat, you'll eat way more than you normally would because you've gone way too long without eating. Generally speaking, most of our clients fall within a 4 to 5 meal feeding schedule, if you will. I would say my super busy folks is usually 4. It's usually breakfast, lunch, maybe a snack between lunch and dinner, which counts as a meal, and then dinner. Those that are working from home now are like, they just like, oh, I need something. And so I say, okay, well, break your calories up and have 5 meals. So eat a few solid meals through the day so your hunger hormones stay stable, you aren't ravenous, and you don't want to punch a baby. Okay, thing number 2 is strict dieting programs. Girl, we are not showing up like that in 2021. And boy, because we got one boy on here. No more strict dieting programs. So, if anything, if you take anything away from this crazy 1 hour that you've spent with me and my lipstick all over my teeth and my red glasses, is that these diets that promise magical results, my goal is for everyone that's listening, anyone that stumbles across my stuff, is that they do not think that these are like the only way to get results. Like keto, unless you like eating avocados, coconut oil, macadamia nuts, and things like that. Because I'm just going to give you a little bit of drop some brain knowledge on you here, which didn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying, is that the keto's done the wrong way is filling their diet full of processed meats. They're like, yeah, keto's the best, man. I get to eat sausage and bacon and cheese. How's that saturated fat though? How long you gonna live there? Yeah, I work with a lot of nurses, specifically that are on cardiac floors. Coach Tara at Venus is a cardiac nurse who says they have had so many patients come in with complications due to ketogenic diets because they're filling their diets with all of the things that you're really not supposed to eat in excess on the keto diet. It's not to say that you can't have some of them, but the keto diet, the premise was created for eating the healthier fats, right? All of the avocados and like the things that I mentioned. Same thing for like paleo. Can you do that forever? Like people are like, what do you think about keto? I don't. I tried it. It's awful. I don't like eating avocados and coconut oil and all that forever. And I don't have a gallbladder. So that's another problem that we don't want to TMI. But paleo, like, are you going to be able to eat like that forever? Probably not. I want to do a diet that's very similar on how I like to eat, providing that we're being realistic and we're not like, I just want to live on Domino's pizza and all these other fast foods, because that's honestly not realistic. Doesn't matter. You can have some, but it can't make up 90% of your diet. Bro style bodybuilder diets, I talked about that earlier. That is not sustainable. So if you hire a new trainer, a new coach who hands you this 6 meals a day, like I mentioned earlier, and it's all like the same, you're eating the same 3 foods all day long, and you're like, that's not nearly how you normally eat. It's not sustainable. You're going to hate your life, and it's going to be miserable. Okay, detoxes, cleanses, and teas, they just make you lose pee, poo, water, and water weight. That's it. So if sometimes I will want to deep bloat, if I've got like something coming up or I'm going to be in a swimsuit for the summer or whatever. And I'll usually do like some dandelion tea or whatever that's natural, like an herb. It just helps you kind of like flush a little bit of water. But I ain't living and dying by that. And I'm not giving that to anybody as like their cure for fat loss. Okay. So those things are generally a sure, hard, and fast way to just give up and feel like you want to, like I said, punch a baby. Okay, so doing this instead. Make changes in thing 1. And exercise tracks. So that was the first slide that I showed you. Make those changes, those swap outs, right? Exercise, track your food so you can eat some sanity foods while you're improving your nutrition as well. So when you eat your sanity foods, like last night, I'm so mad I didn't get this on Instagram. I had, what we call pimp out. I pimped out some rice cakes. So I would totally use a graham cracker, but we didn't have graham crackers. So I loved marshmallows and s'mores. So I had a chocolate rice cake with some natural peanut butter, a Ghirardelli chocolate square with caramel in the middle, 2 chocolate covered marshmallows, pop that in on broil. I had 2 of those. Like those are little things where I'm like, ooh, this is good. It's a chocolate, it's a sweet or whatever. It's just what we had in the cabinet. And it fit my macros, and I woke up a pound lighter. I mean, I know we're not going on the scale, but like my weight hasn't changed all week. These are things that we do naturally, just eating according to lifestyle on dish deprivation. Okay, we are done with all of that. I would love to know, it looks like most of you all stayed on to listen to me babble. In the chat box, let me know, what one thing did you learn today? And what one thing do you feel like you can change today? Would love to see what you guys have to say. Um, Type it in the chat box. What one thing did you learn? What did you learn? Maybe it wasn't something I had on the slide. Maybe it was something that I said that was super helpful. Type it in the chat box. Let me know. Oh, we have some good comments in here. Excessive cardio is not the key to fat loss. Yes. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. You get the gold star, Dorothy. Yes, ma'am. Excessive cardio is not the key to fat loss. I have this lovely client. Love her, bless her heart. Every year for the past 7 years, January 1st ish, she texts me and says, Diane, I'm going to start running. I'm running again. I'm starting running today. And I love her dearly. And I say, person, I'm not going to say her name because I love her dearly. How many times are you going to do this, girl? You hate running. It hurts your knees. And you only do it for like 2 weeks and you get shin splints. And then I check in with you and you're like, I can't. I hurt my knee. I hurt my hip or whatever. So, yes, running is not the only end all be all to losing fat. Swapping out foods, Gerardo says, yes, for sure. Sanity foods are key, definitely. Moderation is key. Cardio and nutrition, yes, yes, and more, yes. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to talk about some awesome humans. So we have a program at the studio. It's called Ditch Deprivation. It's a 12-week fat loss, weight loss, nutrition coaching program. I just say nutrition coaching because honestly, everyone has different goals. Some people are like, well, I don't want to lose weight. Like I said, I just want to put on some muscle or whatever. So these are the other amazing humans that are trained in the ditch deprivation coaching method that work alongside me. And this very adorable human, I am a little partial because she is my daughter, is Coach Ish. Alicia, she also trains clients over at the studio at Venus. She has done 2 shows. I've coached her through, this was her first show here, and this was her most recent show in Atlanta. She's a bodybuilder, she's a personal trainer, she's a nutrition coach, she's a badass. She has been training because, little secret, my kids only got paid to do their chores if they did their exercise. And so for 13 years, she is very money driven and this kid did her exercise. So she would go with me to the gym and she hated every minute of it. In fact, sometimes she would cry doing hip thrusts. So she's been training with me for 13 years. She did get her certification personal trainer eventually because then I brought her to the dark side and she realized she actually really loved it. Been a competitive cheerleader, dancer, powerlifting. We did a powerlifting meet together on our birthdays one year. So she's done a lot. She's overcome her own unhealthy eating habits. I keep telling her she needs to share her story of severe acne and how her diet completely changed that. This kid went through some tough stuff with sebaceous acne on her face for a good part of her teen years because she refused to adhere to my dietary structures. And so she changed a lot and now she is the queen of hashtag dairy is scary. So, and obviously she's done some amazing things with her own physique. So this is Coach Ish. And then we have the queen of glitter and happiness and sunshine herself, Miss Amanda. Those of you that train at the studio know her because her presence is known the second that she walks through the door. She's also a certified personal trainer. She is going to be competing this year in wellness. I'm going to be coaching her to hit the stage in May. And she is also a nutrition coach with us. She's the queen of joy and sparkle at the studio, has her own tremendous weight loss story. Follow them on Instagram. Amanda, if you wouldn't mind in the chat box, typing you and Alicia's Instagram handle so folks can come find you guys and Insta stalk you guys. But this was Coach Glitter. I think she's down, I think she's lost 150 pounds. I did not type this in right, but I think she's down 150 pounds from like this said photo here, these 3 photos. This was at her wedding not that long ago. We got her shredded, jacked and shredded for the wedding. She looks amazing. And these are her progress photos because she works with me. And so we're doing the damn thing to get her on stage. So these are a couple of the nutrition coaches that we have on staff doing the damn thing. And then this is me with my most favorite thing in the whole wide world, which is jet puffed Kraft marshmallows. If you eat anything besides Kraft jet puffed, we can't be friends because that generic store brand stuff is disgusting. So, side note, that was just a side rant. But, anyways, if you're interested in ditch deprivation, I like to just give you some info at the end of this. Those of you that aren't, chef's kiss for staying with me for an hour. You can totally head out and be on your way for this glorious Sunday. The sun is finally out. But those of you that are interested or curious, it's basically an individual strategy for you personally. So this isn't a group coaching program, and that is why we can't take very many folks, because our time is obviously spread between real life jobs, working at the studio, and online coaching clients. But it's very one-on-one. And how this works is when you sign up, we take you through the software, or the software takes you through a very lengthy intake form, because I need to know about you. I can't just slap a meal plan in your hand without knowing about you. You know, the nutrition strategy for a 55-year-old overweight, never worked out person is going to be very different than the strategy for a 30-year-old who works out 5 or 6 days a week. So it's not, if again, if you're getting cookie cutter stuff, it is not custom tailored to you. You should probably run the other way. But we ask you a lot of questions and intake stuff, because we need to know, are you on medications? What does your current lifestyle look like? You know, just day to day, very rough. Progress photos, your current measurements, your you know, your current scale weight, things that you may have coming up. What are your specific goals? Like, you know, maybe you are 200 pounds and you know, you don't want to lose weight, and that is absolutely fine. I don't care if you're a circle, a square, a rectangle, whatever your goal is. If you're like, I want to be strong AF and I want to lift heavy stuff, I don't care what the scale says, just feed me properly so I feel healthy and I'm eating nutritiously, then you'll probably get some fat loss as a side effect of that. But we'll custom tailor it to what you want to work on. So that's how it works. You fill out the intake information, and it's all done online. So there's no in-person stuff. It's literally everything is submitted online. The way that we do our check-ins is our software will send you. Let me switch to the screen too. Our software will send you a email. So you get set up with us, we get you all of your intake information, we send you a getting started video. We look over your program specifically, and we take you through the screen and we say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're focusing on, this is how you access all of the resources in the software, because I've created a ton of recipes. There's a Q&A section. There is meal plans. There are meal plans in there. If you're like, I just need some kind of like guide on how to make foods like together. So I've made a ton of meal plans over the years that are in there with different varying proteins, carbs, and fats. I even created fast food meal plans. Yes, I did. Because a lot of my clients were like, Diana, it's not realistic. Like, I don't have time to cook and I don't have time to prep and all those things, food prep. And I said, boo, I got you. I made fast food meal plans. Print that shit out, leave it in your car. If you have to drive through a disgusting drive through and you want to make the best choice of your life, pull it up, El Pollo Loco, boom. What would Diane do? It's like those What Would Jesus Do bands. It's but what would Diane do? And order what's on there. It's going to take some time to get used to switching if you're used to going through drive-through a lot, for sure, to eat things that are not what you would normally order, right, when you go through drive-through. But this is just a process of switching out some habits. So there's fast food meal plans in there. Oh man, there's a ton of stuff. So all kinds of good stuff in that resources stuff to just get you started once you fill everything out, and always refer to if you need like some extra stuff to just take a peek at for ideas. But you work closely in tandem with your coach, whether that's me, Ish, or Glitter. And you know, you have access to us via email as well. We get you started with that initial getting started paperwork, your calories, the calories that you specifically need, what cardio you need to do, what supplements we suggest you maybe give it a shot to help with some of the lifestyle stuff. All of that is dialed in for you. Literally do not have to think. It's all a blueprint made for you. You just have to follow and execute. And if you fall off the wagon, you just get right back on the next day. We dust you off, pat you on the booty, and send you on your way. And you're like, that's good. You're normal. You're human. Perfect. Let's keep going. And then you check in with us every 2 weeks. System will send you an email. Mrs. Jones, it's time to check in with your coach. There's a link in there. You click on that. It opens up a screen, or you can do it on your cell phone. And we ask you a series of questions that are very important for us to understand where you're at. How's your energy? How's your mood? How's your cravings? We get to look at your foods that you've been eating, because you're going to enter things into an app. Super easy. We explain everything to you. We get to look at all that. We get to say, okay, maybe swap this out for this. It looks like, we need to bring up your protein. We give you lots of feedback. We do an audit of your check-ins via video, and we send it to you. And then we make changes if we need to, or we keep going as we are if things are working. So that is how we roll for 12 weeks. And it's a lot of communication between yourself and your coaches. So we make sure that you're doing the damn thing, you're on the right track, you're not getting frustrated, you don't feel like giving up. And it's a huge, huge, huge source of accountability for you to do the thing that you said you were going to do. Because if we're holding your little feetsies to the fire because you got to check in, you're going to start creating those habits in your lifestyle that need to get you towards your goals that you really want to achieve. So that is my spiel on ditch deprivation. We are closing enrollment on January 25th. Now, the program doesn't technically start January 25th. We opened this program in December, and we had about 15 people enroll. I only personally have room for 3 more on my coaching roster. I know Alicia and Amanda are getting close to being full as well, because they also have to do the other things in person with coaching at the studio. So we're getting close to honestly shutting it down. I'm going to do another webinar next week on Sunday, because I know a lot of you, when you enrolled, Maribel, are you drawing on my board over here? When you enrolled in this webinar right now, it asked you, like, what is the one question that you have? And I got so many, I printed them out. I'm going to do a Q&A style, more like Q&A rapid style workshop next week based off of a lot of those questions. And I'll keep it open, ditch deprivation open if we have spots, obviously, but I do want to get all these questions answered because they were really, really good ones. Some of them I probably covered here, but if you sign up by tomorrow, at midnight. So Monday at midnight, I will throw in, I know some of you are quarantine bound, but I also have a 12-week Goddess Body at Home workout program. So I created this, and it's workout videos. It also comes with like a progress tracker, so you can learn how to take your measurements. It tells you how to do that. And I'll send you the link to that has week 1. I literally tell you exactly what to do. I want you to do these 3 or 4 videos. Week 2, these videos. Week 3, for 12 weeks, you will be told exactly what videos to do. And they're not like, they're tailored to all levels. So I show you how to modify. There's warm-ups in there. There is a exercise library that literally will show you exactly like, oh, what is a lunge with a bicep curl? I need to know what that is. Just thumb through that, or on your phone digitally, you can do that. It is literally broken down for you to do. And you can do it all from the comfort of your own home. You just have to obviously have internet access, which if you're watching, you obviously do. And the tools that you need are incredibly minimal. You can do this with a yoga mat. You don't even need a yoga mat. You can find things in around your home to use as dumbbells if you don't have a set of dumbbells, but most of them are done body weighted. You don't even need dumbbells. And like I said, lots of modifications are given to you for that as well. So that, my friends, is the down and dirty on ditch deprivation. It is our signature program. If you ever land on our website, and you see like our transformations or successes on Instagram or our website, even my competitors, before we go into a show, this is how they're dieting. This is exactly how they're dieting. They're flexible dieting. That's what this is called. It's not if it fits your macros, because I don't give my clients a free pass to fill up 100% of their diet with trash. And that's what the IIFYM like model is like, oh, you can eat whatever. I don't believe in that, because I like you guys a lot. I want you to live a long time. So I don't think it's healthy to just eat Pop-Tarts and cereal and protein bars all day long, although that does kind of sound glorious, but it's probably not the best for your health and longevity. So it is a flexible dieting strategy. So I will open up. I'm going to keep you for 3 more minutes. I will answer questions until 10:30. So if you have any questions, in regards to the program, you're curious, the link to sign up is there for you, venusfitnessstudio.com/sign up. If you want to get on board with any of us, the info is there. You could take a look at some of our testimonials, the before and afters, because I know that's super huge when you're purchasing and investing in something. You want to see, like, I need some proof, y'all. I need some social proof. There is plenty there. There's more to come. I have a lot that I'm going to share on the webinar next weekend. And that is it. It sounds like okay, I don't want to, you sent me a direct message. Yes, so we don't have anything in person for starters. I know that was a question there. We don't have anything specifically per se in person, but when you do sign up and we send you everything, we do tell you, like, this is a lot of information to digest, right? Like when you're starting something new, especially because I leave no stone unturned, it can feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, right? Like, there's way too much coming at me. And I do understand that. So with that being said, when you get your getting started information, if you feel like you need to hop on a call, I tell every single client, get everything, look it over, fumble through this for a few days, start making a list of questions, and let's schedule a call and hop on the phone. So that way we make sure that you are off and running to the races and you don't feel confused, because information without implementation is useless. So if we send you all this information and there is no implementation, you're not going to get results. So we want you to get results. We want you to feel successful. So just make sure, if that is the case, that you reach out and we do get you started off on the right foot. Okay, very nice. Yes, I would say, if I had a direct message come through privately that says, should we do the 3-day food tracking before starting? So I would say start tracking today, right? So you can get signed up. We won't actually start your programs until you're ready to start. So we do want you to get enrolled, at least save your spot, get the intake information done, because it's going to take you a good 5 to 10 minutes to fill that out. There's a lot of stuff in there. You want to get your photos, explains to you, takes you through step by step. But get started with that. Get your intake stuff started so we can get the ball rolling. And then once we're ready to start your program, you've already collected some data for us to see, like, what you're eating and how you're eating and how many calories you're eating. So we have a ballpark idea of, and then also just so you can start kind of playing around with the app and testing it out and all those things. So it's MyFitnessPal is the free app that we usually have our clients start to get their ball rolling. Okay, and let's see. We've got, let me see, any other questions? I just joined Ditch, by the way. Perfect. I will track my food, see where I'm at. Awesome. Veronica says, I've learned that I can make some changes. Very nice. Should food be measured raw or cooked? This will be my last question, and then I'm going to let you guys go so you can get on with your day. When you are measuring, I always tell my clients, it's very important when you measure your proteins. We'll just use that as an example. When they're cooked, so you're taking your chicken breast and you're putting it on your food scale, okay? Chicken breast, food scale, it spits out the number to you. And let's say you're aiming to hit 4 ounces of chicken breast. Okay, perfect. It says 4 ounces of chicken breast. Sweet. This is now my phone. Pick up your app, look at MyFitnessPal. You need to search not 4 ounces. You need to search cooked chicken breast. I always like to put USDA at the end because usually that'll pull up the most accurate numbers. Cooked chicken breast. Whatever way you're measuring it is how you should search for that in MyFitnessPal. And all of this is covered in the Q&A or FAQs once you become a ditch deprivation member. There is a lot of these kind of questions that come through. So I created a Q&A or FAQs section in there for you to check out, and it has the explicits in there as well. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for watching me chat all things fat loss. I will have some info on the next webinar coming soon. And I would love to have you join me on that one. That would be awesome. Next weekend, it'll be next Sunday at 9 a.m. as well. And I think that one, I love those. They're super Q&A-y, like you get a lot more interaction, and I open up a lot more dialogue about certain things as well. So, so we'll leave it there, and I'll let you guys get on with your day. Happy Sunday. You guys asleep yet? Dorothy's still awake. Sheena's awake. Veronica's here. Everyone else is shy. Oh, there's Glitter. Perfect. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Have a beautiful Sunday, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you. Good night or good day. Good night.
Have a good day. You too.
All right. Bye.